was a time in my more youthful and more naive days that I remember saying specifically that the day I pay money for an MP3 is the day you can put a knife into my throat. Things have changed, so today we're going to talk about some Bandcamp bands. Around the turn of the year, I was checking out a lot of year-end lists, and I just kind of found myself continually going back to Bandcamp, which I had been active on for a couple of years, but I just went down this Bandcamp wormhole, and I wanted to talk about some of the things that I found that are worthwhile, and just kind of talk about Bandcamp as a platform all around. A couple of things have come into play to make this a little easier. First of all, if you want to follow along in another browser tab or what have you, you can follow me at bandcamp.com/Brainsmasher. And so one thing that made this kind of easier to enjoy Bandcamp music, obviously not a physical format, so I'm not going to be showing you any CDs or cassettes or tapes. However, you can order records, CDs, and tapes on Bandcamp, but this is about the non-physical digital platform as a substantial medium that we need to consider as a realistic thing, that it's going to be more and more popular as we go through the demise of humanity and our Mother Earth. So one thing was, I've been fucking around with the Wish app. I don't know if you guys know what this is, but it's kind of this weird, like, Chinese mystery thing where people act like you're never going to get what you ordered, or it's going to be a different size or stuff like that. I mean, there's ways to be smart about it. I've ordered some stuff on Wish app, and honestly, I think I've ordered like 6 or 7 things, and I've gotten every single thing from them that I ordered. Sometimes things are free on the Wish app, and what I got to make Bandcamp easier for free was this little Bluetooth stick, so that I can stream music from my phone to anything that I want to around the house. I've got Bluetooth speakers around the house already, but I wanted something in my setup here. So I got this free thing from all the way from China. I paid like $4 shipping, and it came in like 2 weeks, and it's awesome. So it's plugged in back there right now, and I'm shooting music from my phone to it while I shoot a video. Fucking cool. It's handy in the car. It's handy when I'm working out at the gym. All kinds of stuff. So check that out if for some reason, and also, like, I can't guarantee that you're going to be able to find one for free on the Wish app, but you should be able to find like an easy Bluetooth stick for like under $10 that makes Bandcamp a lot more enjoyable. So, per usual, what we're listening to back here is Wallachian Cobwebs. I'm really enjoying this stuff. So one theme you'll find throughout this video as I talk about Bandcamp projects and albums is that I have a hard time remembering like where I first found out about said album, so I won't be able to like kind of trace it back, because I'm getting stuff from Instagram, Facebook, and honestly Bandcamp has a really great formula for helping you discover new artists based on other people's tastes, whether they're your friends or not. And I really, really like that ability to like kind of swim around in all this stuff, and you can instantly listen to it if you're curious at all about it. Another really cool thing about this, I think, is that you can enjoy some of this stuff without having to worry about being the first one to buy the fucking LP or miss out on the 66 copies of the cassette. It just kind of fucks all that, and a lot of this stuff is really affordable and achievable, under $8 usually. A lot of the stuff is name your price, so you can, I don't know, it's kind of like rude, I guess I would say, if you pay nothing to an artist and download their music, but you know, that's gonna happen, I would think. And like, I like how this is kind of a midway point between buying a copy of a demo for $6 or $7, having it paid, shipped to your house, and eventually putting it in. You know, I'll throw you $3 to listen to the digital copy of your record. Cool, right? The more people that are like kind of midway between committing to buying a physical copy but also want to support an artist and just not leave you, you know, dead and hungry, I think that's fucking awesome to have an option to, you know, participate in that exchange with an artist. Say, I want to give you $3. I'm curious about your stuff, but I'm not quite at the like $25 LP level quite yet. There's a ton of stuff out there that is refreshing, new artists that are really kind of playing with that whole paradigm. And also, I would say there is a kind of a genre kind of base kind of starting to come up around Bandcamp. And that is just like a lot more experimental kind of stuff. You can really do whatever the fuck you want on Bandcamp and put it up there, and maybe it will find your audience. I've got some really weird albums that I made back when I was 20 and 30 on my Bandcamp page, and they're fucking weird, and they're up there, and you can have at them and listen to them if you want to, or not. But I don't have to commit to spending, you know, $2,000 to put physical media out there that nobody's gonna fucking buy. I really, really appreciate that aspect of what Bandcamp is doing. And lastly, you know, we're not putting fucking plastic into the ocean that's gonna be out there swimming around the earth after we're fucking gone. So that's also cool. I kind of felt like at the turn of the year, there was really, I was just from social media, honestly, and a lot of my friends locally and abroad, I just felt like we were kind of really tamping down on buying physical media. It's fucking, after I'm dead, this is all trash, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, that's just kind of how I felt. And I'm just kind of really trying to understand that idea and kind of engender it a lot more in my practices in buying as a collector. So Wallachian Cobwebs, I'm not sure how I found it, but it is amazing. I've been listening to it quite a bit this week. I'm not sure where they're from, but it really falls in this category for me. It's like a cold meat industry kind of deal. I'm going to be on the page of the artist that I'm talking about quite a bit. It looks like there's a cassette version of it that's sold out, and like that's what I'm finding a lot of times. It's like I'll come across an artist and it's fucking sold out in all physical formats. So you have a chance to buy it, name your price, and I really, really like that about it. Bandcamp has an awesome format too, where you can say a little paragraph about the album that you bought, whether you want to or not. You don't have to. So you have this kind of little testimonial of people like urging you to check it out, which I think is cool. It just empowers the artist so much to be able to present their work in such an accessible format. I fucking love it. So Wallachian Cobwebs is kind of like this mysterious sort of vampiric ambient dungeon synth kind of deal. And the songs have a lot more breadth to them. I feel like there's a lot of this dungeon synthy kind of black metal crossover where the songs are over in like 2 minutes, and like, okay, you got your idea across, but it just fucking went nowhere. Wallachian Cobwebs really has a strength in building this slow, gurgling, kind of brooding atmosphere. It is rife with samples from old movies, and it just, that really, really works for me. There's just a really, really specific attention to detail in this that reminds me quite a bit of stuff like Arcana or The Moon Lay Hidden Beneath a Cloud, which are both absolute near and dear to my heart. I am in love with this demo. I can't wait to see what they do next. And a lot of times you'll find like an artist will kind of start something small and just throw it up on Bandcamp, and then it fucking blows up, and then they're like, oh shit, maybe I should record with my black metal band and put that on there, and then people pay attention to that, and it's like amazing. It's like a way of like following this through line of an artist without having to worry about fucking webzines and labels and stuff like that. I love how it's this direct connection between the artist and the listener through Bandcamp, not fucking Facebook or Instagram and all that other kind of stuff. So Wallachian Cobwebs is amazing. Check it out right behind me. Other albums of highlight in the past few months that I have been just really impressed by. One of them I want to talk about is Vulgarite, or Vulgarite. Not sure how you pronounce it exactly. But this is a US project. And this really, I think, encompasses a lot of what we're seeing in the kind of Bandcamp genre that I'm kind of trying to illustrate. Is that it's kind of somewhere between this mysterious kind of ambient and black metal, but not in a cheesy way. Vulgarite really, really sounded refreshing to me. at first listen, and I continue to just like be so fascinated by this vivid tapestry of soundscape that they're presenting here. The album is called Fear Not the Dark Nor the Sun's Return, and it's a kind of short EP, and I just absolutely love it. I left a testimonial on the page right here. It looks like not a lot of people have gotten hip to this, so I strongly urge you to check out Vulgarite. It's fucking awesome. It has this hallowed kind of celestial murkiness to it. I read about the artist talking about the name Vulgarite. Actually, the true definition of vulgar is meaning of the people. And so this EP, I think, is to kind of illustrate what it means to be not a hierarchical sort of being, and just being considered like scum among the people in a way, like in the eyes of those who would feel that way. And I really like that sort of play on defining itself by that name. And I didn't know that about the word vulgar. I think that's kind of cool. Anyways, this demo is fantastic. I've been super impressed by it, and I listened to it quite a bit in the last few weeks. It also what I noticed about it and what I really appreciated about it is that it has this like really huge kind of slowly churning musical pace to it, but it moves along so incrementally by this careful attention to drums and the drum programming that's done on it. It has this there's a lot of like kind of little sweet licks done on the drum programming, which I thought were just really, really tasteful. It reminds me quite specifically of my favorite Njiqahdda album, Elms, which I kind of wax poetic about on a lot of different platforms. So definitely check that out. If Vulgarite does it for you, check out Elms. The next one I wanted to highlight. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna try, if it's okay. I'm not sure about the what I want to say here, the legalities of it, the ethics of it. I want to try and put samples of all these artists in my videos so that you are forced to check them out. But like, I haven't been in contact with these artists to ask if I can do that. I'm not monetizing this video, so there's a little bit of a reason why I kind of think it's all right. You know, I'm supporting underground artists, and I mean nothing but, you know, the purest of intentions in doing this. So I hope nobody is offended if I use your music in my video to support your music. Next one I wanted to talk about is Hanging Moss. Now, I did find out about this by following Paul Radel of Blood Incantation on Instagram, and he is a big fan of like new agey kind of music. And so one day he had posted like a bunch of kind of like ambient synth new wave kind of music, and I checked out a couple of them, and they were kind of whatever. But one of them that I checked out was called Hanging Moss, and this album is called Autumn Journeys and Reflections. And this is one that was a lot different from the rest of the pack that he was kind of highlighting there. It's an acoustic album. Let's see. It says, engage the sound of forests unknown through the 7 songs of minimalist acoustic guitar and experimental delay loops, gradually moving from traditional melodic stylings toward experimental folk and into the 15-minute acoustic ambient journey of side B, which is really, really awesome. It kind of builds up and kind of sells you on it in the first half of the album, and then the last track is just this amazing just journey of a track. It's so good, and it really does remind me of a lot of like older new age kind of stuff. Like the only name I could even drop on new age music might be like Jean-Michel Jarre, and I'm not in any way making a comparison there, but that's kind of where my head went to, or maybe like a Michael Stern kind of thing. But it's just a beautiful acoustic album, but it's very, very unique in its delivery and recording. It's just amazing. reminds me quite a bit. I talked about this artist a couple of months ago. Quercus alba, my friend Jake and his acoustic project. It's really classy and really just like tightly well written and recorded. This is really, really along those lines, but it kind of takes off on this more like heady, kind of spacey kind of thing. It's really, really amazing. Hanging Moss, Autumn, Journey, and Reflections. That one is actually a couple of years old. Another thing I like about the Bandcamp format is like you'll have an album that's been sold out for years and years and years, like Choir of Vengeance in another video. This album was limited to 500 copies in 1995, and you'll never find a copy of it. But it's available on Bandcamp from the label, and I think that's fucking awesome. It's like bringing back to life some of these artists. Another one, let's get into some black metal. Candlewolf Disciple from North Dakota. Demo 2019. This slayed me. I'll admit, the name hooked me from the start. I ordered a copy of the tape, and I actually thought the tape sounded like balls compared to the digital. So if for some reason you checked out the tape and weren't impressed, check it out on Bandcamp. It sounds a lot better on there, but it's just this fucking nasty, vicious, unholy, seething, hatred-filled black metal from North Dakota, and it rules. It's riffy, it's super speedy, kind of reminds me of Sweden's Grafvitner, but I haven't heard really anything like this coming out of the States that is just like so mighty and triumphant. It sounds like something that could have come out of like Finland in the early 2000s, but yeah, great shit. Demo 2019, Candlewolf Disciple. Like I can just go all over my Bandcamp page and just check out a lot of the stuff. So okay, let's get into this sub micro genre. So last year, I believe kind of everyone's album of the year in the dungeon synth genre and the Facebook group, which I'm not even on Facebook anymore and I'm not in that group, but from what I hear, everybody went nuts about Diplodocus. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of that shit. I listened to it quite a bit. It's worth revisiting. But that really changed the formula of dungeon synth and what it could be. Diplodocus was like this dinosaur themed dungeon synth, and in fact they called it Dino Synth. And that was the first thing I think to like finally break the stupid fucking walls that were making all these dungeon synth artists sound the same. And so Diplodocus really just forged a new path and said, look, it's alright to kind of play with these tropes and sound a little bit like Mortice, but have it be about something else. And it referenced so vividly like these 70s kind of educational films about prehistoric life and stuff like that. It sounded exactly ripped from a movie that you would see in school or something like that. So that was like this monumental kind of thing. It's like, guys, we're making all the same thing, and this guy just fucking knocked the entire wall down. And so out of those floodgates came what wound up being known as comfy synth. And that moniker for the genre is just such a perfect illustration of what it is. After Diplodocus, the next thing I discovered that fell along in this genre was Mycologia, which is really along the same lines musically, but it was themed about mushrooms. And I am an absolute mushroom hunting maniac nerd, and that really did it for me. The thing about Bandcamp and a lot of this kind of dungeon synth, and especially comfy synth, is it's good for like a week or so. And then you're like, I'm good. I'm alright. I don't need to come back to that. So people have been just churning out this comfy synth stuff left and right, and it's getting way more ridiculous by the day, and I fucking love it. So the next thing that came out after Mycologia was Tiny Mouse, and that was really where it felt like, alright, we're in the fucking kids book. Like, it just took me back to 1984. felt like I was reading along on a 45 read-along book where you put on the record and you read along in your book, and there's a sound on the record that tells you when to turn the page, and it just so vividly references that kind of stuff. And these are just like quick little 15-minute kind of things, and they're fun, but it's not the kind of thing I need to own a copy of. It's not the kind of thing I'm going to be listening to probably in 2 or 3 years, but I threw the artist a couple of bucks and I enjoyed it. I really, really liked it. I really liked what it was doing to break the mold of the genre that it was kind of coming from. But if you want to follow Comfy Synth down another wormhole, there's fucking Friendly Donut Shop. There's Grandma's Cottage. It gets so ridiculous, and I fucking love it. It's almost like it just ran out the gate from Dungeon Synth and pointed a mirror at how ridiculous they were being by being ridiculous, and I fucking love it. Anyways, back to maybe some metal here or there. Another band who I am excited to see live at the end of this month is Minnesota's Tvær. Tvaer. They are working on a debut full length for Bindrune, which I cannot fucking wait for. But I recommend checking out their previous full length, Old Gods Whom Chaos Knew. Physical formats are completely sold out, but I've been hearing a lot of great things about a live performance that these guys put on, so I can't fucking wait to see them. But this demo kills. It's just amazing, American, just of the moment black metal with strong riff, songwriting, and production and performance. Sounds great. These guys are fucking killing it. No doubt. I'm kind of realizing right now, like, I am talking about a lot of artists, and this is going to be a long ass video, and I gotta get to work here in a couple of minutes. I don't know, there's too much here to highlight. If you want to check out all the Bandcamp stuff that I've been listening to and purchasing throughout the last few months, check out my Bandcamp page. Another one I want to talk about is Boreal Hymn, with their just recently released album or demo, Chandra. I kind of expected this to be a lot more like Paysage de Verre, minimalist, kind of raw black metal kind of deal, but it is not that whatsoever. It really has this kind of large, booming sound to it. Riff-wise, reminds me kind of sometimes of like maybe a slower Borknagar, kind of like primordial in some ways. It really has this epic might to it, which I wasn't expecting based on the cover art and the name. There's a lot of more like acoustic kind of passages going on throughout it, but it was a really, really strong outing. Looks like the demo sold out on cassette right away, so these guys did a great job, I think, of hyping their music ahead of time, but I was super impressed with that demo. Check out Boreal Hymn's Tundra demo. Man, the more I'm going around my Bandcamp page, the more I'm just like, fuck, all this good stuff. I don't have time to talk about it. Hyperdontia has been putting out a lot of exclusive Bandcamp content that you can check out that fucking rules. Just because it's not on a physical format doesn't mean it's not amazing. Oh, so I also forgot. Another artist I was super impressed with was Echushkya. I am not sure where Echushkya is from, but holy shit, this was great. This is just another one of those harbingers of amazing American current black metal that is just so good. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like is really solid, really quality around this kind of thing, but Echushkya with Dust and Ethers reminded me and harkened back so much to Ulver's debut Bergtot, which is just the holy fucking perfect album of all time within this kind of pagan sort of black metal stuff. Fucking rules. I can't wait to hear what Echushkya does next. But it was just a short 4-song little EP demo, sold out on cassette, but super promising. I hope maybe they get signed or something and somebody picks them up and puts that and whatever they are doing next out on physical format. Also along those lines was a band called Evergreen Refuge, which I found out about from my buddy Austin's year-end list. Beautiful, just vast, epic ambient, which eventually does meld into a kind of Passage de Tvær sounding kind of thing. There are a lot of artists who are kind of referencing and sounding a lot like Passage de Tvær. However, this was really well done. It has that quality that just like makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up and just takes you to this kind of icy cavern kind of place where it's kind of like comfy but chilling and warm but freezing cold. It was super vivid. This is an hour-long track, an hour and 6 minutes. It's a fucking journey. It's one of those records that just like you sit down and listen to it on headphones. Strongly recommend it on headphones, and it will take you to another place. Total fucking transcendent black metal, the way I love it. Another one, lastly, I will talk about. I have been listening to nothing more than the new one from Richard Inman. Not metal, warning. He has a new record called Hasta la Vista, and I have been listening to this non-fucking stop. I cannot get enough of this. Dude plays Americana, folk, country kind of stuff, and dude just shoots it from the heart. These songs are so well written, catchy, memorable, accessible. I just love it. It reminds me quite a bit of Townes Van Zandt, plays Foley, maybe kind of a little bit of Coulter Wall. I would say if you love Coulter Wall, you would probably love this Richard Inman. But he's like, it's digital only, not doing any physical format, and the guy just doesn't have a website at all. And so I really feel like supporting this guy and bringing some attention to him. So if you're one of those guys like me who's been listening to metal for a really long time, but also kind of getting into country in the last few years, I super recommend this Richard Inman Hasta la Vista. It is so great. The song Lilac toward the end of it, oh, it's so good.
Well, I'm glad you chose to keep your distance from me, and I never need to ask myself just why. Some days it drives me near insane, leaving nothing but the strain that I put on me for chasing you away.
In fact, I'm going to listen to it on the way to work, I think, today. Yeah, Richard Inman, Hasta la Vista, super good. So, I will probably be doing more of these Bandcamp deep dives the more I buy on there. I want you guys to follow me up on there, see what I've been checking out so that I can see what you've been checking out and enjoying all this stuff, because it's great. It shouldn't be ignored. If you're waiting for a physical format only on a lot of artists, you are missing out on a ton of great art and music. So we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. See you next time.